So we're about to be treated by Kay talking, and I don't know the lad's name, but I personally call him Penfold. Anyone who remembers Danger Mouse from the 80s will know instantly who I'm talking to. I really like Penfold, by the way. I thought he was a great character. So we're about to be treated to talking Penfold and Kay having a discussion about the racisms. Kids getting sent home from school for the racisms. Raymond is watching on in splendid isolation there. Kin group preference is a thing, Raymond, isn't that right? Don't move if you agree with me. Don't move one muscle if you agree with me. Thank you, Ray. So anyway, this could be very interesting now. This could be very interesting. So, oh shit, there's Ben going in for the food. Okay.
Her views on 4-year-olds being sent home from school. It's a really tricky one, isn't it? Because that report was, incredibly depressing. Over 11,000 juveniles.
Well, I suppose from the perspective of a regime that has spent several years now, and a culture offshoot, spent probably 20 years now convincing us of the evils of racisms, and that's a lot of social engineering that has occurred to young people. Yet still, children at national school level, as we call it here in Ireland, seem to occasionally say naughty things. That's really quite incredible. It's almost as if kin group preference is a thing, and there isn't any huge amount of animus in it, by the way. It's just people interacting with each other and noticing difference.
Being, sent home because of abusing, racially abusing other children potentially, or staff. And I think it was only about over 1,000 were in primary school, which actually is quite shocking, really. But what she...
Okay, so she clarifies there's only 1,000 in the national school, So yeah, I think the core of my point stands. It would appear that this is just a thing that different populations express kin group preference.
Was arguing was that actually sending 4-year-olds home would be...
Incidentally, Penfold, to my eye, looks like a rabbit caught in headlights here. He's talking to a black woman of colour, a strong black woman of colour, and he clearly doesn't want to say the wrong thing. I haven't watched this clip, but I think Kay is going to be on point for this one.
A last resort would be something that had only really happened in a very extreme circumstance, and she kind of was quite clear that she felt it was completely unacceptable to be sending 4-year-olds home if it wasn't a kind of exceptional circumstance. And what she was really trying to strike the balance with was actually, we shouldn't be sending 4-year-olds home willy-nilly, but nonetheless, if they are potentially abusing...
So I want a gradation on this though. Are we talking George Lincoln Rockwell, or William Luther Pierce level, or are we talking more David Duke level, or are we down to, kind of Andrew Dice Clay? I want a gradation on this. What level do you have to be at now to be sent home? I mean, are we talking on a scale of Bernard Manning to William Parker Yockey here? I need to know talking. I that's a bit rude calling her talking. I actually just can't think of her name here off the top of my head.
Another 4-year-old child, should that 4-year-old child who is being abused be left in a classroom with a child that is racially abusing them? And so it's a really difficult balance to strike, and she didn't really want to get into individual circumstances, one thing she said, isn't it? She said, I don't want to get into individual cases, every case is slightly different, but nonetheless it would be unacceptable if it was happening again.
Now, Kay or Penfold, will one of you chime in here now, because this lady has had the floor for 2 minutes. Come on, I want a contribution.
And again, but as a one-off, she seemed vaguely comfortable with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I am, but there we are.
Oh, okay. You are the master, or the mistress, I should say. Okay, no, mistress sounds a little bit pervy. Kay, she's if no one else will wield the cudgel against the racism, Kay Burley will. And there is poor old Penfold still sitting there like a fucking rabbit in the headlights. I mean, what does he play here? I think, mate, just keep your mouth shut. Just keep. Although Kay's looking at you, she's looking at you, mate. She wants you to say something, so you better at least, home through your nose.
Top stories?
Top stories this morning. Let's remind you of those, shall we?
Yeah, the old devil. Yeah, old devil. They moved on. So yeah, just it's I'm trying to be funny here, but 3 little white girls stabbed to death by Rwandan, 4 weeks ago in Southport. Like, it has just disappeared off the radar. The soldier, nearly stabbed to death. The riots in Hare Hills in Leeds. The parading all the horrible far right racists all over Sky News. Their sentencing broadcast live by Sky News, and there was absolute meal of murder in Notting Hill Carnival. Murders and rapes and assaults, and barely a word, we're reaching levels of it's all so tiresome that shouldn't physically be possible as far as I can see. Anyway, Penfold, blink twice if you want to communicate the stress to us, okay?
Israel's largest trade union has called for...
No, one blink and then the 1,000 yard stare. Look, mate, we know what you're up against. We know what you're up against, and we don't expect you to be anything, any kind of hero. You don't have to be a hero. You have Talking and Kay beside you, and that is a formidable circumstance to find yourself in. It's raining outside, Ben. And Mrs. Arklow rocks is away, but she does have the eye in the sky watching us there. So, I can't let you out on the balcony when it's lashing rain. I'm sorry. Why can't you just calm down like Raymond there now and just not be hyperactive? Thanks for listening.